First up, a bit of shredding action.
We've got about 600 grams of potatoes. These just washed, they're not peeled, and that's a good thing. And then I've got a couple of carrots in there as well. What I want to do is just lay the carrots and potatoes on to a tea towel. And in there's a lot of water, OK? So we want to help get that out. So if I move that out like that, we're going to season it quite generously with salt and pepper, OK? And rosemary. Just a few little bits will make all the difference. Mix it up. That salt will start to encourage the moisture out of the carrots and the potatoes.
If your mix is wet, you'll end up with soggy Rosti, so give it a good squeeze. Then toss with a glug of olive oil and get the whole lot in that baking tray.
So just push that down like that, and we're just going to bake it.
Whack into the bottom of a hot oven so that the direct heat gets straight to work on that crispy base.
While that's happening, we've got two things to do. Poach some perfect eggs, well, we'll go into that in a minute, and then make a lovely, basic, beautiful sweet pea and spinach salad. A real classic, a simple combination. Let's do it.
Frozen peas are perfect for this. They're cheap as chips and they take seconds to cook.
While they're cooking, I need to make a nice little dressing for them to land in. So I'm going to kind of go a little bit old school, a little bit French dressing. So just a little bit of mustard like this. Just going to put it on the corner of our bowl here. I'm putting the bowl, by the way, at an angle, just so it makes it a little bit easier for me to make the dressing. Half a lemon goes in. Squeeze all the juice out of that. And then in with about 2-3 tablespoons of olive oil. Gonna get a little whisk and just whisk that up. And we've got a nice, simple French dressing there.
Give it a mix and get the hot peas straight in there.
Give it a shake. And let those peas cool down in that lovely dressing. Absolutely lovely. So we're going to serve this with baby spinach. I love spinach. It's a great leaf. They're all washed, ready and raring to go. So I've got the spinach. Just open the bag, easy.
And you've got a zingy fresh salad for literally pennies.
OK, I'm going to turn down this pan now to a gentle simmer. And we are going to poach some eggs.
Now, the secret to perfect poached eggs is to start with the freshest free-range eggs you can find. And crack them into a little bowl, not straight into the water, so they hold their shape.
Whoop. As quickly as possible, I'll go in with the next two, because we want them to cook at the same time. I'll try and avoid the same place. Whoop. And then I'm just going to leave them. You don't want to touch it. Don't want to swirl it about, really. Just want to let it do its thing.
3 minutes will give you a nice soft yolk and a firm white. But they're your eggs, so cook them how you like them.
Of course, it's always good and polite to bust in to that lovely, perfectly cooked poached egg. So let's just bust that up. And there's one more bit in the tail, a little feta cheese. Really, really nice. Kind of like that beautiful seasoned sort of snow that goes around. That really is a nice little hit there. Thwap that in the middle, knives and forks, tuck in, and there's a great little brunch.
Crispy tray-baked Rosti, perfectly runny poached eggs, and a sweet pea and spinach salad. You can't complain of that.
Really good. Something definitely a little bit different. It's absolutely fantastic. Enjoy. Look at this fish over here, just absolutely gorgeous. But it all starts here, in the freezer. And one of the most economical ways to get consistently well-priced fish is frozen, and some people think it's a bit of a downgrade. Let me show you how it's absolutely not. On average, it's about 1/3 cheaper to buy it frozen than to get it fresh.
This is a curry, so these fillets need big flavour. I'm using Tikka paste.
This is not sauce, this is paste. It's very convenient. It's just a wonderful blend of kind of onions, garlic, herbs, spices, all ground up to perfection. it's really worth using the paste. It's a good product. So often when you do stuff yourself, you can save a load of money. Not on the curry pastes, guys. So look, I want 1 heaped tablespoon. You can use any curry paste you want. I'm using Tikka curry paste. I'm gonna put that into our bowl here.
Zest 1 lemon and keep that to one side. Then squeeze the juice into your paste. Give the fillets a good old rub. Then leave to marinate.
Regardless of your budget, I think quality frozen fish is a great thing to have in your freezer just for when you decide to do something and you want a little fish dish, fish pie or something nice like that.
Now to crack on with your curried veg.
We all love a curry. It kind of gets our taste buds going. I mean, it's so easy to sort of pick up a phone and order a takeaway. And I know we all love it, and it's kind of exciting, and this new food comes into your house and it smells great, but it's not cheap. It's never cheap. When you look at the receipt, you're like, oh, ouch. To do it yourself and better is absolutely doable. So onions, oil, frying, caramelizing, okay? Smells nice. We're gonna go in with some salt, nice pinch. We're going with some pepper, nice pinch. And now the story begins. We're gonna add freshness and heat.
Chop the stalks of half a bunch of fresh coriander, 2 nice big cloves of garlic, and a thumb-sized piece of ginger.
Remember, we got that lemon zest here. I'm gonna throw it in as well. It's all good flavor, ready and raring to go. The lovely thing about this recipe is you can kind of add little bits that are in the fridge if you want to. If you've got leftover kind of bits and pieces, of course you can add those to the curry and kind of make it your own.
Any veggies would be great in there. I'm using a couple of potatoes. Just chunk them up.
Now I want to go into this pan again with 2 tablespoons of the paste. Okie dokie. The fresh ginger, garlic and onions, it's really making that paste the very best it can be.
Cook these down for about 10 to 15 minutes until they soften to build up a great flavour.
Cauliflower is the next primary ingredient. I could use fresh, I love fresh, but it's 3 times cheaper to use frozen. We're going to cook kind of the living daylights out of it anyway, so you're not losing anything by having frozen. So I'm just going to grab that from my friendly freezer, and you want about 300 grams of cauliflower going in. But I don't want to give you tips and save you money through compromise. You know, if we were doing a beautiful, delicate salad, then I wouldn't use frozen, okay? Because we're making a curry, we lose nothing. All we do is save money, so we're trying to be clever.
Once the veggies are charring, you know you're onto a good thing.
I love that. That stage is just brilliant for flavors. I mean, just look at that. You know, that's what's going to give you fantastic... It's like flavour for free.
Now go in with 2 ripe tomatoes. A handful of red split lentils will thicken up the curry and give you a sweet, nutty flavour. Then just cover with boiling water and give this about 45 minutes for the lentils and the veggies to cook through. 15 minutes before you want to serve up, back to that fish. It doesn't even have to be defrosted fully, but the longer it marinates, the better it's going to taste.
Look at that. Paste on the top and then put it down on the pan. Don't touch it. See all this excess paste here? Get every last bit of it. Don't waste anything. Get that on top and just sort of pat it down.
They'll need about 3 to 5 minutes on each side on a medium heat to cook right through. And the rice is super easy. 1 cup of basmati rice to 2 cups of boiling water. Simple.
And then cloves. This is a wonderful, wonderful spice.
You want a big pinch to max up that flavour.
It makes the most incredible rice. So what happens here is these cloves will float. They're now infusing that water like a clovey tea, right? And this method of cooking rice is called the absorption method. So it just sucks up any moisture around it until it's a little bit fluffy.
After around 10 minutes, the rice is ready and the fish is charred and cooked to perfection.
What you should notice as well is how juicy the fish is. What I quite like to do is just pinch it and flake it. Pinch it and flake it. Because that's kind of the story, really, guys. We're taking something that everyone's kind of like knocking. Oh, frozen fish is rubbish. Of course, fresh fish is the best. Of course it is. But frozen fish is really good. and it's a consistently cheaper price, and it's sitting there waiting for you to have a flash of inspiration, something's changed, you want to knock out a brilliant curry, boom, 40 minutes, bit of love, and you got this.
Dress the fish with a few coriander leaves and some yogurt. Throw a handful of frozen peas into the curry, lighten the sauce with some more yogurt, then plate it up. A final few coriander leaves, some crunchy toasted almonds, and serve that fish and veggie curry separately to show off their different flavours and textures. And there's got to be a few cheeky poppadoms, come on.
A couple of poppadoms, couple of beers, big old Pac-Man smiley faces. I think it's time to eat.
If you've never tried fish curry before, now's the time. Get that freezer stocked up and you'll always be able to feast like a king.
So what we're going to do today is a really simple, really delicious veggie quesadilla. This is basically like a Mexican cheese on toast. So this is also a brilliant way to get veggies in the kids. So today in the fridge, I mean, I'm going to be honest, I haven't got loads and loads in the fridge. You know, I've got like one chicken, bunch of veg, bit of fruit. I haven't got everything that I need to make this, and that's good, right? So I haven't got spring onions or onions, I've got leeks. And a little tip, if you just take the sort of outer part of the leeks out, and by the way, we'll waste nothing. The inner part, the white part of the leek, is very delicate and very sort of equivalent to a spring onion. So we're going to use that, and I'm going to finely slice that. So this here, we will waste none of that, right? We're never going to waste that. That will go into soups and stews and nice things like that. So that's the first part. We've got just standard red peppers. We'll just sort of split these in half and remove the seeds, of course. If you haven't got fresh peppers, jarred like antipasti peppers are really, really good as well. This is an opportunity for you to get all kinds of lovely things in here. So you could just dice up some tomatoes, squeeze out the pips. I'm going to grate in some carrot as well. You know, you can do things like grilled veggies that you chop up, even broccoli and stuff like that. So with the leeks, what I want to do is just finely slice those like that. And if you're at all worried about chopping, then the safest method of chopping is to cross chop, right? And basically cross chopping means that you've got your hand on the handle and the other hand like this. So if you want a really safe method of chopping, this is it, guys. And you use the knife kind of like a trowel. Just put everything in the middle and you finely chop all of that stuff. I'll put all my chopped things like that. So with the peppers, I quite like seeing like little dices of the peppers. Just slice them up into little lengths and then we'll slice the other way. The first time I had a quesadilla was about 25 years ago, and Jules worked in, do you remember you worked in Maxwell's?
Yeah.
And she used to work very late nights until about 1:30 in the morning, and I used to go in there after work, and it's just like, it's really delicious. Like crisp, you know, tortillas, you know, the kind of oozy, bendy cheese. So look, you can also use a box grater just to grate the veg as well. So this all goes in to this lovely tray. This will be the half of our filling. Now the other part of our filling is cheese. Cheese is really important. That's kind of like the glue that makes everything stick together and makes that lovely ooziness. So I'm going to grate some cheddar in. So we'll have a little grate up, and it's really nice to blend your cheeses actually. Of course, in Mexico they wouldn't use cheddar, but cheddar, red Leicester, they really do melt beautifully and they taste delicious. We're making enough quesadillas here for 7 people. And of course, Little River probably will only need a quarter, but he'll want a whole one in front of him because he'll want it round and all that kind of malarkey.
He's a toddler.
Yeah, and then like the little ones will probably have half. Teenagers will probably have a whole one. So it kind of just depends. So look, I've got cheddar here, a nice wodge of it. I think always like 50-50 looks pretty good, right? What I tend to do is I'll rattle this up, I'll mix it up. So normally you put coriander in this if you were going to kind of stay on point. Mint is really, really good. So herbs in there, just parsley and a little bit of mint. So that's nice. So what I love about this recipe is I haven't actually met anyone that doesn't like it. Everyone seems to like quesadillas.
I think I must just chip in. The good thing about this is it's that same old boring hidden veg thing. So children will eat this because sometimes they have no clue what's in it. Could you put like sweet potato in as well?
If you roast a sweet potato
Yeah.
or a squash, then it's all soft and caramelised, and then that will be fantastic. You can just put it in there. But
Yeah.
I've just knocked up a couple of very simple salads out the back. Can you make the dressing, please?
Yes.
You know the drill, don't you?
There's a jam jar out there somewhere.
I'm just adding a little bit more cheese just as I go, because actually it's quite a large proportion of veg here. And look, you have to have the right amount of cheese, otherwise it just won't ooze and it won't stick. What's great about this dish is you can wrap them out in the morning, stack them up, leave them out. When it's lunchtime, pan on, and you can just toast them sort of like a couple of minutes each side. Happy days. Also, these tortillas are fantastic. If you see them, I'm sure you've all bought them before, nothing new there, but they're really good to freeze and they're really handy to have in the freezer. So, stack, looking good. Now I can whack on this gas and we'll start to cook, because we're actually having this for lunch, aren't we, Jay?
Yeah.
Right then, you lovely folks, get this pan on kind of medium high heat. We don't want to make these golden dark too quick because we want the cheese to melt and go oozy inside. So I'm going to put the quesadillas into a dry pan, good non-stick pan you need for this. I don't want to add any more oil. I like it to be crisp and fresh and have all the kind of unctuous filling inside.
How long do these take?
So I reckon these take about 2.5 minutes on each side until they're golden and toasty. You don't want the pan too hot, because then what happens is the tortillas go brown and crisp and then the inside is just cold and raw. So you want the perfect kind of speed. So medium heat, golden brown, both sides, that should be nice. Now, we're gonna do 2 dips with this. So we've got some standard yogurt, and we're gonna kind of treat that like the sour cream. Then I've got hummus, which I know a lot of you do have because the UK consumes more hummus than most countries on the planet. Now, in my opinion, I know it's normally like crisps that get dipped into it and stuff like that, but this is pretty boring. So, what I always do to embellish mine is a little bit of lemon or lime to really bring a little bit of kind of life into it, and then a little pinch of salt, and then a kiss normally of some nice extra virgin olive oil just makes it delicious. So just give it a little stir up in here. So each plate will have some nice toasty quesadillas, a nice little lob of hummus that you've brought back to life. You can put some herbs in here as well if you've got them around. And you can spice it again with sort of chilies or grilled peppers, stuff like that. That will be much nicer now. Test it if you don't trust me. So let's have a little look at this. Oh, look at that. Really nice. They're nice and toasty. You can see what's happening on the inside. It's all starting to melt slowly, so it's still got a bit more time. Oh, it's going nice. Look at that, in there, babe. So these are in about 3 minutes on each side. Look at that. Let's have a little look inside. Yes! Woo. Turn that out. I can put the next one on, like that. What's important is to let this cool down for at least a minute. Just let it cool down because it's molten lava in there. It's too runny, too hot, you'll burn your mouth. And then uncook another one, and then basically there's like a kind of constant supply of delicious quesadillas coming out at their best. So I'll cut this into like quarters or eighths. So I'm going to rack out these quesadillas. I think they look beautiful. Jules, are you happy with this, girl?
Yeah, it's amazing, really nice.
We're going to serve this with the hummus, with the yogurt instead of the sour cream. But if you've got sour cream, brilliant. If you haven't got hummus, you can either make it with tinned chickpeas, or you could have a guacamole, or you can make a tomato salsa. But it's a very flexible dish. Look how lovely and hot and steamy that is. Gorgeous.
Very nice.
So what I'll do is I'll put the hummus there. Look at that, come on. You know you want it. Absolutely delicious. So we've got the beautiful, crisp quesadilla on this side, and then just load it up with the yogurt, the chili sauce, give it a little bend up. Oh, look at that. Happy days. So good. It is posh cheese on toast from Mexico, but the flavors are amazing. It's really, really fresh. And for me, that little hit of chili sauce just lifts it all up. So guys, go on, give it a go. Super easy, and the whole family will love it.
Next recipe is absolutely gorgeous. It's a cross between like a lasagna and a cannelloni. It's called Rotolo, rolled up. It's gorgeous. Beautiful roasted squash, I'll show you that in a minute, with amazing spinach, gorgeous cheese, tomato sauce, blipping away, golden and crispy. You are gonna love it.
First, prepare your squash. Lose the skin and the seeds, then mash and season. And boom, we're done.
That's it, just beautiful, natural, gorgeous squash in all of its simple glory.
Now for the rest of the filling. Fry a chopped red onion until soft. Then go in with 500 grams of frozen spinach. Top it all off with some nutmeg and leave to cook down for 10 minutes.
Look at the colours, the squash and the spinach, beautiful.
Next, tomato sauce. Fry up 4 cloves of garlic with a chilli if you like a bit of a kick. Then add a jar of tomato passata.
As soon as that garlic gets a little bit golden, pour it in.
A splash of water and a 3-minute simmer, and it'll taste like heaven.
It's time to make the Rotolo.
I'm using fresh pasta lasagna sheets. If they're a bit stiff, you can just stick them in a bit of boiling water for a few seconds. Lay them flat and grab your smashed squash. Now the fun bit.
So think of each one of these little filled pastas, it's got to be good. It's a little present, do you know what I mean? This is like mud pies when you're a kid.
Layer on the spinach. Give it contrast by crumbling on some feta cheese. A top layer of parmesan and you're ready to roll.
Just think of this like a savoury Swiss roll. Cut it in half and then cut each half in half again into quarters. Look at that, I mean, that's what we're talking about. That's kind of what the story's about. Just those intense, beautiful flavours. We're going to plop that into that tomato sauce and just buddy them up next to each other.
Finish with more grated parmesan and some fresh sage kissed with olive oil. Then whack that hot Italian mama into the oven and bake for 40 minutes. When it's ready, it's golden and crispy and just makes you long to stick a fork in it.
I've done pastas like this before and I call it honeycomb pasta because it kind of just looks like a honeycomb, all cooked into each other.
This Rotolo is incredibly tasty, but also super cheap to make.
Something a little different, really good fun to make. Come on, what are you waiting for? Go cook it.
Having a couple of meat-free meals a week is a really easy way to slash your bills. And believe you me, you won't be missing out with something as stunning as this. The story begins with one large aubergine.
It's incredible when you roast it, grill it or fry it right, you get a lovely crisp outside and a creamy, creamy inside. So what I'm going to do is roast this off. This is where the beginning of the flavour comes. I want to hack up this aubergine into sort of 2-centimetre slices. So I'm just going to slice it up lengthwise. There's no right or wrong way to do this.
Now to start loading up the flavours with 2 red onions.
Just peel them and roughly slice them.
Throw them into an oven-proof dish along with the aubergine. Next up, dollop in 4 heaped teaspoons of Rogan Josh curry paste, along with 4 cloves of garlic, a little oil, sea salt, and 2 thumb-sized pieces of ginger.
The best bit, hands, have a nice little massage up. Just really squash all of those flavours into each other. Look at that, the smell is phenomenal. Get it in one nice fine layer, just like that. Okay, you don't want it stacked up on top of each other because then it will steam and we want to roast and caramelise. So whack this in the oven at 180 degrees.
Then just let them do their thing. And after about 20 minutes, they'll be cooked down and super sticky.
So you can see how it's kind of condensed, kind of reduced by half, and we've really got intense flavours into that aubergine.
Now for the delicious dal. I'm using 500 grams of yellow split peas, but any lentils will do. Stir in a veggie stock cube and 2 litres of boiling water. Finally, go in with half of the roast veggies to boost the flavour. Simmer for about 1 hour and 20 minutes until the split peas are tender and gorgeous. The rest of the veggies will get scattered on top at the end.
I'm going to pop this aubergine back in the oven and turn it off, just to keep it warm, and it will just carry on, just making it firm up a little bit, which is nice.
Next, I want to show you how to properly impress with this dish by whipping up some super easy and really cheap homemade chapatis.
They're going to be so much tastier, softer and fresher and more delightful than something you've pre-bought.
It's just 250 grams of wholemeal flour, salt, olive oil, 150 mils of cold water, and boom, the perfect chapati dough.
It's a wholemeal bread, so it's not going to be like super elastic, but it's good to give it a ruddy good kneading, just for 30 seconds, you know, or a minute.
Then roll into a nice sausage shape and divide into 12 portions.
So let's just flatten it out like that into your flour, and we'll roll it out. Couple of rolls, turn it. Couple of rolls, turn it. Very simple, super cheap.
Cook on a medium heat for just over a minute on each side.
So let's just turn these over. It's all looking pretty damn good.
And keep warm until you're ready to eat.
Take yourself a clean tea towel, right? And just every time a chapati comes off the pan, it can get wrapped in this, and it just keeps them warm and bendy and gorgeous. One last thing that's going to give you a kind of hit of total foodie seriousness and beauty and texture and flavour, and it's called a temper. And a temper is basically a herbed or spiced oil.
Start by frying a few mustard seeds in some groundnut oil.
They'll start to pop in a minute, so keep your eyes on those.
Finally slice one chilli, and then we're going to add to the story an amazing herb.
Curry leaves are like the phenomena that transform your curries. They're incredible, they're sort of savoury, kind of tea-like, curry-like, but it's the smell of them that's phenomenal.
Now, no curry would be complete without a side of rice. I'm using basmati.
I'm going to put my rice in one corner, nice and light and fluffy.
The dal is thickened to perfection.
Literally hundreds of millions of people around the world grow up and live on this stuff.
Get your beautiful chapatis ready and raring to go.
Come on, just beautiful. You can't be having meat and fish every single day. To have a meal that's dedicated and celebrating veg is a beautiful thing.
Finally, scatter over the fragrant temper.
And what you do is you'll get little pools of those beautiful spices and oil around that dal. So simple, so wholesome. It's a delicious dinner. Girls, do you fancy a little bit of this dal? Come on then.
This is worthy of any dinner party showstopper. All thanks to the wonder that is the aubergine and those brilliant spices and pulses from your cupboard.